Quando lottiamo per migliorarci, tutto intorno a noi diventa più bello. Non ci sono passi falsi, se l'obiettivo è dare il massimo per noi stessi e per chi è sempre al nostro fianco. In Monge lo sappiamo, perché ciò che facciamo bene oggi migliora i nostri domani. Con questa filosofia vi offriamo il meglio della nostra esperienza. Monge Natural Super Premium, alimenti made in Italy di alta qualità per il benessere dei nostri amici a quattro zampe. Monge, la famiglia italiana del pet food.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Talking Dogs with Ante. As usual, I'm your host, Ante Lucin from Croatia, and the sponsor of the evening is Monge. As you know, we didn't have the interview last Wednesday. I told you that we were driving to Budapest for the three international shows and Champion of Champions there. But I was very happy to see that you have all, during the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that you have all enjoyed the live streams of all four best in shows. There has been a lot of people watching and a lot of comments. It was a wonderfully organized show. With a lot of really, really beautiful dogs from all around the world. So that was, I think, also nice for you. But now we are back with our interviews, and it took me some time to get my guest tonight because he needed some time to recover after the big event. But I'm very happy to welcome tonight Fábio Amorim, the president of the Brazilian Kennel Club. Good evening, Fabio, or good afternoon to you. Welcome to Talking Dogs with Ante. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good. I'm very well recovered and very happy to be with you and to have the opportunity to talk about dogs.
Yeah, that's always nice. The special thing about this program is that there is always people literally from all over the world watching. So I'm sure it's going to be an interesting evening. I have prepared for you all kinds of questions. So I'm sure it will be an interesting conversation. But let's start with the World Dog Show because that's probably the main subject of tonight. Now it has been almost 2 months that it has finished. You have recovered, you said yourself. I'm sure it was a lot of hard work, a lot of stress. After 2 months, now when you look back at the World Dog Show in Brazil, how do you feel about it?
To be honest, I feel very proud. And we work very hard, as you said. You know how tough it is to manage a big show. And it was really a huge show. It was the biggest show in our section. And we are very happy with the job that we did. The atmosphere was outstanding. We got more than 50 countries. People come from 50 different countries. It was really an international show. And of course, it took almost 2 months to recover myself. But every time that I thought about the moments that we share in December in São Paulo, I feel more happy. And I'm sure that the Brazilian breeders, the South American breeders, and the breeders from all over the world that came to São Paulo had a very good time with us.
Wonderful. I'm going to ask you something that people always ask me when I finish my summer shows in Split. When you look back now to the event, is there something that you wish you have changed? Is there something that you wish you have done in a different way?
I think we, talking about the sponsors and talking about the stores that we had there, we should have some store to sell things to the public. I think it's the only thing that we miss, but it was, we did this consent because we didn't want to have lots of sponsors sharing the venue. And I think this is the only thing that we miss. And of course, maybe if we had a third best in show, because, you know, in Brazil, the majority of the shows, we have 3 or 4 best in show, and people in the end was really want to have more than 2 best in shows. Yeah. But I knew that we will have a very nice show, to be honest with you. And because, as I told you, we work so hard on these events, but not even in my best dreams, I thought we will have the show that we got. It was outstanding, as I said. So yeah. Of course, tiny little details that we should work more. And I always say that during the show, we are always 4 hours in advance with some kind of problems, some kind of issues, and we are solving during these 4 hours in advance that we got during that moment. But anyway, it was very nice.
Let's just mention for the people who were not there. I'm sure that many people have been sharing the live streams in our group, and there has been really a lot of people watching that. But for the people who were not there, let's share just some facts. How many dogs were entered? How many judges you had? How many breeds represented? What was maybe the biggest entry in the show? Just a few facts about the show.
Yes, we got more than 4,000 entries with 102 judges from all over the world, and we have breeders. The majority, of course, come from Brazil, but we have lots of breeders come from Europe, from Asia, even from Ukraine. Well, we got 3 dogs from Ukraine, and it was in the biggest venue of São Paulo. We had 2 different pavilions, and we had lots of public. It was very nice to see lots of people that are in the very first show, the dog show of them. So, as I told you, it was a major event, and I think that in the very end, worth the work.
Oh, absolutely. I want to ask you, I'm sure that this you have been asked many times after the show, to enter this main ring after such hard work and everything, and find yourself in the middle of the ring with 10 group winners, and you know, thinking, okay, I'm here now to choose the most beautiful dog in the world. What kind of feeling is that, and how did you like your lineup and your winners?
You know, Ante, I was lucky that I was working during the show all the time, so I didn't have time to watch a single group final. And okay. I really didn't know what I'm going to get in my main ring, and it was very, very nice, because this is the way I like to judge. I don't know if you know, but I maybe I'm the last person on earth that don't have Facebook, and yeah.
That is one of those few persons who don't have Facebook. Yes.
Yeah, yes, because of course, for other reasons, but one of the reasons that I love to judge dogs, and I love the feeling that I'm seeing the dog for the very first time, and just do my job and just put up the dogs that I love the most. And it was very nice that when I stepped in the main ring, I think it was for the 10th time, because I went before because of the speeds, because of the ceremony. But when I saw the lineup, it was the first time that I saw the dogs, and it was very, how can I say, I wasn't anxious at all. I'm not going to say that it was an easy pick, but I was so relaxed that I said to myself, I'm going to enjoy this moment. I'm going to move the dogs. I'm going to take a good look at them, and then I'll take my pick. So, of course, I was very, very proud I was very happy, and I knew that it was the top of my judge career. But I enjoy a lot the moment. I really enjoy to see 10 wonderful dogs. I thank my colleagues that put up special dogs that made my job very easy, because it was 10 dogs that when I go over them, it was tiny details that helped me to choose the first ones.
Yeah, this is easy when you have good dogs. Then you know you cannot make a mistake. When you have a lot of that's a nightmare. But I agree with you. It was a wonderful lineup, a lot of nice dogs, and all the dogs really, I think, gave best of themselves. But I want to mention one other thing, which is very special, and you have mentioned it already a few times. And I always, when I think about dog shows, I think this is one of the things that we have lost in general on many dog shows, because the finals are always very long, and there is not so much public, and people go home, exhibitors go home. But the atmosphere from the crowd outside of the main ring, all 4 days from the start till the end of the main ring, was just absolutely mind-blowing, amazing. I think it must be so nice, to work in that kind of condition. When you have so many people cheering and everything. Is that something normal for South America, or this in Brazil was even more special than usually?
No, it's not. It's not common. Unfortunately, our shows, including Brazil, they took too long. And in the best part, we have just a few people watching the best in show. But here we managed the time very well. Around 6 p.m. we got the finals, which was in a wonderful time. And of course, people in South America were very anxious to see a World Dog Show, and they stayed until the very end. And as you told, the atmosphere was amazing, and everybody comment about this. And it was very, we are very lucky when we picked the venue, which is right in the middle of São Paulo. So we got people from the entire city just to watch the show. We had a very good support from the media. So everybody in the city knew that we are holding a World Dog Show, and lots of people want to go to see dogs. Brazil is a very pet-friendly country. People love pets, especially dogs, and I think it was one of the main reasons that we had lots of people during the main ring judgment and the breeds as well. We had some rings with around 500 people watching the dogs. For example, we have Rottweilers. We have around 200 Rottweilers. We have more than 180 French Bulldogs. I know that some shows in Europe is not a big numbers, but for us in South America, it's a huge number of entries. So I think the atmosphere and, of course, the media and how we promote the show help us a lot to have people all the time watching and enjoying the show.
Wonderful. One of the things that I mentioned, because you remember just after the Bulldog show, I have asked you to be my guest in the round table, but unfortunately you were not. It was not possible for you. I got Gabi Valdez instead. So we spoke about a few things, and I said you are not on Facebook. This we know. But the amazing thing about the World Dog Show in Brazil for me was that in many big shows, when the show has finished, the show has finished, and it all stops. In your case, it was opposite. When the show has finished, you have continued in the days after, all the time publishing beautiful videos, photos, emotions between dogs and exhibitors, different reports, things. It was full of, impressions from the World Dog Show, which I think in this time when I'm sure even if you're not on Facebook, there is so much of this anti-dog show and anti-purebred dogs promotion. That was really, really a wonderful thing, and I suppose that people in South America really appreciated it. Who did all the work about the PR before and after the show?
We have a spectacular team working with us. The company called Pantene. We have Dale and Tati, and they are simply the best. They are working with us since the Brazilian Kennel Club didn't have a Facebook. And of course, I take a look at the Facebook of the Brazilian Kennel Club, and they did a wonderful job since the beginning. And during the World Dog Show, it's just exactly like you said. And we, of course, we give to the community lots of good pictures, lots of good videos, lots of information. It was a very important thing that we had in our show. It was about the information. So we always send the correct information, including in the venue. You have lots of signs, lots of roads, maps, and of course, our social media team did a wonderful job.
Absolutely. I mean, as somebody who works quite a lot with the social media, I must say, really congratulations. And as I said, okay, there are a lot of organizers and a lot of companies who do a great job before the show and during the show, but they have done an amazing job also after the show. That's not something very common, and I really urge to the organizers, to look up at the example of Brazil, and after the show to continue with the wonderful images and things from the show. Let's talk now, Fabio, a little bit about you, because this is interview with you. I know that you got your first dog when you were 10 years old. It was a Dalmatian. Were you the first person in your family who was involved in purebred dogs and showing and so on, or your parents or grandparents or somebody was already, let's say, a doggy person?
My family, they always loved dogs, but not pedigree dogs. We used to have dogs, but I was the first one that started with the dog sport. I asked to my daddy after the Dalmatian, I asked him Doberman, and I went to the first show with this Doberman, and then the story begins. So back, we never been a dog show in my family, but we always loved dogs.
Okay, and tell me, I mean, you were very young when you got your first Doberman. Why Doberman? And do you remember your first dog show, your first success, how it was for you?
I remember everything. I remember every single detail, including the smell of the show. You know what? I have a nice story with Dobermans because I used to travel to spend my vacation with my grandparents in a city close to mine in Fortaleza, and they have one neighbor that have kids with the same age as mine, and they have Doberman. And I remember that I went to the house of this neighbor, and we to play, to go to the swimming pool. And one day, somehow the Doberman started chasing me, and I ran a lot, and finally I escaped from the Doberman. But when I escaped from him, I stayed staring and looking at him, and it was so beautiful the way that he was staring at me. And I was, this is the breed that I want. I want a Doberman. And when I came back to my house, I asked to my dad, and he bought one Doberman. And this Doberman didn't have pedigree. It was, I think, it was a purebred, but don't have any papers. But he was very, he needed to be trained. And then we contract a guy, and he started training him, and then we got a bitch, and this bitch came with pedigree. And this guy invited me to go to a dog show because he said, oh, you have a very nice beach and maybe he can be success on the show. Let's go to the show. And it was first time I got 13 years old. It was 35 years ago. It was where the my begin with dog world was with this beach. It's in her name was an opera called Turandot. It was the name of the yes.
Yeah, and did she become successful eventually?
Yes. Not the way that we know now, because you know when I started, people got very happy to receive the papers and the dog to become a champion. Yeah. But now it's different. If you don't place in the best in show, it's a huge drama. Yeah, but for me, I still have this feeling that the most important thing is the breeds. You need to have a good dog that have a good place on the breed. It's not about the group finals, but during that time, I was very happy what Turandot did.
Wonderful. I want to ask you, you founded your kennel, which is called Von Bullit Von Bullit in 1987. Where did that come from?
The father of Turandot was called Bullit, and he was one of the top Dobermanns during that time, and on his honor.
Okay. I want to ask you before we start talking a little bit about Dobermanns, because I suppose Dobermanns were your key breed for most of your life. You mentioned that you have also owned Miniature Schnauzers at some point. How did that story start for you?
I live in a city in the northeast of Brazil, and I went to another city to get my degree. I'm a civil engineer, and I live in Belo Horizonte for 6 years in an apartment, and I start judging as a judge from this state in Brazil called Minas Gerais. And I remember the first show that I judged, there was a wonderful Miniature Schnauzer that I just love him, and I always take a look at the breed. I found them very, very easy, very friendly, and then I bought one bitch called Teca, and she lived with me in Belo Horizonte for the 6 years, and she was my friend. As I told you, I live alone, and it was very nice to have this Miniature Schnauzer for these 6 years. Until now, my family have Miniature Schnauzer. My mother is totally in love with Miniature Schnauzer, and my sister as well. So I think now they are the Miniature Schnauzer part of the family.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, my grandparents, my parents and me, we all started with Miniature Schnauzers. I still have them at home, and it's really like such a nice, easy breed. To live with, and they are so normal in the head and everything. So I can understand that it's very easy to love them.
I love the breeds.
Which color did you have, or do you have?
Salt and pepper.
Salt and peppers. Okay. Let's talk now a little bit about Dobermanns. That's always something quite interesting. While we are talking, there are a lot of people writing comments. There is one from our mutual friend Desi Murphy saying it was such a thrill for me to have judged the Dobermanns at the World Dog Show. Dobermanns are quite a special breed, especially when we talk about the fact that you are in South America, is the FCI country, but Dobermanns in general, they look quite different in Europe, what they look in the States. But what is with South America? Is that maybe some kind of a mix between the European lines and American lines, or it's more American? How do you find that type of Dobermanns that you have?
I think they are in the middle. But for those who love Dobermanns and those who judge Dobermanns, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. I already put up Dobermanns with the European style and with the American style. South America is between both styles.
With which lines did you work when you were breeding Dobermans?
It was a long time ago, and there is a wonderful line in the, because right now I'm breeding, but not as the way I used to breed in the beginning. I don't know. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, we hear you perfectly.
Okay. When I start, I had the Marienburg line, which was wonderful dogs, and lots of Foxfire as well. Maybe people don't know about this line anymore, but they were very, very, very beautiful. I during the Doberman, I have a nice story too. When I started showing my first Doberman, I was so happy with the opportunity to go to dog show. I was so in love with the dog show, and I start having troubles in my school with the grades. And my father said to me that if I didn't got better grades, he will just stop this dog show thing. And it was like killing me, because I was so enjoying and happy in the dog shows every weekend. Everybody know what I'm saying. There is a point in your life that you think that there is nothing but the dog show. And I was right in that point. And then I talked to my father, said to him, okay, you don't need to give me money, and I promise you that I will have just A's from now. If you let me go, I will work for the people that I know in the dog show, handling the dog for them, and they're not going to pay me money. I just want they to pay the expenses of my Doberman and myself. So I became handler with 14 years, a free handler, let's say, for 2 years. So I did the campaign of my Doberman, showing dogs of my friend. And it was a very nice part of my story with dogs, because I really miss this time, the traveling, how happy it was. And it's nice that in my case, I had the opportunity to be in different parts of the dog sport. I started with as a breeder, I was a handler, now I'm director of a kennel club, I judge, and it's something that I do with lots of passion.
Yeah, it's interesting, to have this different, because on everything what you do, as you said, breeding or showing or being the president or something, or organizing dog show, it's always the same thing, but so much different. So it's nice to open your horizons on different levels and see the sport in general from different sides. I know that you are a breed specialist for Dobermans, and on Facebook all the time there is so much talking about the way of showing Dobermans. We had this, you will know it for sure, this IDC International Doberman Club Championship in Croatia, actually last year in September. It was around 500 Dobermans entered, only uncropped and undocked. But they have this way of showing the dogs, with throwing the balls and calling them and entering in the ring and all this chaos and everything. While in the USA and in South America, you have this other way of showing them, completely different to this. How do you feel about both of the ways?
As long as the way that you are showing the dog doesn't disturb the other dog or the people in the ring or the judge, it doesn't bother me. And when I judge, people sometimes say that I'm very serious person. Because I'm focused so much on the dog, and that I didn't see people around me. I just want to see the dog. It's 100% true. I love to judge. Maybe it's the thing that I love most in our sport. But when I'm judging, I just see the dog. So if the way you show your dog is not disturbing your colleague, for me it's okay. There is no problem. I just want to put up a beautiful dog.
Okay. Talking about Dobermans, I'm sure that you are following the breed also in South America, but also all around the world. What would you say at the moment is the biggest problem in the breed when you judge Dobermans? What would you say that the breeders should, in general, improve in the breed?
You know, I think in South America, we are putting the standard of the breed, I mean the level of the breed, very high. I think we have lots of good Dobermans, and especially because they are, as I told you, I think in the middle of the way. I really don't like exaggerate dogs, especially with Dobermans. But you know, I had the opportunity to judge at the Dobermans at the World Dog Show in Shanghai, and there I got in my ring lots of European style, lots of American style, lots of South American style, and you know, in the average, they are very, very, very good. But of course, as I told you, I think they need to not exaggerate too much. And I think South America is doing a great job in this way. Of course, when I judge Dobermans in the United States, I try to not put up those very tiny. I don't like Doberman without bones, but I think the breeder should find a way in between. I think it's the best way for breeders.
Okay, tell me another thing. When we are talking about Dobermans, you had Dobermans since you were a young boy. When you compare, for example, the dogs that you were breeding and showing when you were very young and the top winning Dobermans at that time, when you compare them with the top winning Dobermans of today, you judge them in Shanghai, you have seen the winners in Brazil now at the World Dog Show. Do you think that in these, let's say, 20, 30 years, the breed has changed a lot? And if yes, in what you think it has changed?
I think it's changed a lot and changed for good. I think we have the Dobermans now are much, much more beautiful than Dobermans when I start. I think they are. The breed is increasing, the level is increasing, and they are definitely much more beautiful than when I start with the Dobermans.
Okay. Now another sensitive question, always that I ask people who are involved in this kind of breeds, especially South Americans. There is this FCI rule which will be official from the 1st of January 2025, where it's going to be impossible to show cropped and docked dogs in the breeds which have in the standard written that they must be natural, all the German breeds, then Cane Corsos and some other breeds. I know when I look the photos in South America, in Asia, there are a lot of Dobermans and they are all cropped and docked. How this is going to change the scene in the South America, and are the breeders already slowly preparing themselves for this big change?
Yes, this is a very tough question and a very sensitive subject. Yeah. But what can I say? I really think that I totally understand that Germany hold the standard, and this is the correct. We cannot change this, but we should have some kind of how can I say? We should be a bit flexible about this, because you know, we love dog shows, we love to win on dog shows, but let's take a look in the last 5 or 10 years, which Doberman got very success with tail and ears in dog shows. It's very hard to see them to win, and I know that the time is changing, but we should take a look more careful with this change. I understand the laws in Europe are sometimes different in other countries, especially in South America and Asia. And talking about the beauty of the dog, it's kind of hard to say that they are not different. Of course, they are totally different. If you see a Doberman with a crop and dog, Doberman is different. But I think the country, if there is not a law, just like in Brazil, we don't have any law saying that you are supposed to dock and crop the dog. We should follow the rule from the country. But of course, we are going to accept what FCI decides.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting subject for me always. I have miniature schnauzers, I told you, and I have some cropped and docked ones, and I have now all of them are uncropped and undocked because it's not allowed in my country anymore. I was talking to Professor Peter Friedrich, the president of the German club, when he was my guest, and I said, why not? I understand that it's not allowed in Germany, it's not allowed in Austria, it's not allowed in most of the countries, but as long as it is allowed in some countries, why there is not a possibility to write like in some other standards where you can say if they are cropped and docked, if the ears and tails should be like this, and if they are not, they should be like this and like that. So where it's allowed, it's allowed. Where it's not allowed, it's not allowed. Why not? He said that will never happen. He says they will absolutely insist on leaving the standards like they are, and they will insist that the FCI bans the showing of dogs cropped and docked wherever they live. I'm just curious, how much that's going to influence the breeds in South America and in Asia, because they are all cropped and docked there, and this is allowed, so we should not be in a way against it, because it is like it is. Let's see what will happen, but it is very sensitive subject, and let's see what will happen. I'm lucky that I don't need to be one of these people who need to decide about that.
Yes.
Tell me, when we are talking about Dobermans, you said, of course, we have this like European type, we have American type, we have this, let's say, a little bit in the middle. When you read the FCI standard of the breed, do you think that this standard is good? Do you think that something should be changed? Do you think something should be better explained? Or do you think the FCI standard for the Dobermans is okay?
No, in my opinion, the standard is okay. I don't think we need to make any change, and I don't see any problem. Maybe, as you said, if we have a standard for dog and crop dogs, and for no undock and crop dogs, would be a modernization about this discussion, because it's a feeling from us, from South America and from Asia, that if we will not going to crop and dock the Dobermans, it's going to be very hard, because everybody has this type of Doberman here, including the United States.
Yeah, I was thinking that I will never be able to get my eye, on uncropped and undocked Schnauzers, and I'm judging now Schnauzers and I'm judging Dobermans, and I'm completely used to seeing them uncropped and undocked, because in Europe you cannot see them in the other way. But I feel in a way like you that there should be an option, because if there are countries which think this is okay and they allow it, then there should be an option A, an option B, in my opinion. But I know people think different ways, so let's go away from this subject. I want to ask you, how and when did you start with the Cavaliers?
That's a nice question. The Cavaliers came to my life because of my wife.
Okay.
And she saw some Cavaliers and she was in love with the breed, and we moved from the house to the apartment that we live today, and we start with the Cavaliers, and I bought 2 of them, and I wasn't at the board of Brazilian Kennel Club during that time, so I campaigned them. They were the top dogs in Brazil, and we were very happy with the results. and we still have them, and it's very, very nice. It's a wonderful breed. So they are so happy. They are so partner. They are so with us, and I just love the breed. It's a nice breed, very nice breed.
Are they popular in South America or not?
They become to be very popular. When I start, we have around 50 registration per year. Now I think we have around 1,000 per year in the whole country.
Wonderful. I want to ask you, because that's something that you have been quite recently campaigning and showing a lot. I suppose you are judging them also quite a lot. When you think about the Cavaliers, the same what I asked you about the Dobermanns, what do you think at the moment is the biggest problem of the breed?
You know, I think sometimes we see when you judge Cavaliers, you see some dogs so beautiful and some dogs not so beautiful. I don't say it's amazing, and how the lines, how the bloodlines work on the dogs. And I think the heads are in the very good moment, but the back problem, I think we still see in the breed. It's lots of lines have these problems, and of course the health. We need to take a very good look on the health of the breed. But just like the Dobermans, I think we are in a better moment than we start with our Cavaliers.
Yeah, there is a question from Andrew Brace asking you, where did Fabio's foundation stocking Cavaliers come from? Where did you buy your first ones?
From the US.
From the USA. Okay.
Yes.
Another sensitive subject that you have mentioned it already. I'm sure that you are following what is happening in Europe. I suppose you know that Norway has ruled already 2 times on the court that the Kennel Club and Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Club are not allowed anymore to breed Cavaliers, because the government or the court or whoever thinks that there are not enough healthy dogs, and that there is not possible anymore to breed healthy Cavaliers. What is your opinion on banning the breed, and what is your opinion in general about the health of the Cavaliers? How is the health of the Cavaliers in the South America?
You know, banning the breed is not the way to solve the health problem. I just don't like this strong position. We have a health problem with a breed, let's ban the breed. Just don't work like that. And we know that if you start to punish the breeders just like us that do a good job, you leave a huge space for those breeders that don't care about the dog. And of course I see what's happened in Norway. Everybody is worried about that, but asking your question, thank God in South America we don't have this kind of problem. Of course, we have lots of anti-breeding laws going on here, and our duty as board director of the Brazilian Kennel Club is to talk with the politics. But you know, I think every single breeder needs to do that, because it's amazing how when they understand our point, that when we talk with them and explain the whole thing, it's the majority understand what we are saying. And I saw many times in Brazil, they just change the law or put the law down, and because it's a matter of how we explain. I think we need to be more proactive on this matter.
Okay, so it has happened in South America, for example, that something about breeding or dogs, purebred dogs, has been voted and then moved.
Yes. In not only as federal law, but city laws, state laws. Here we have lots of different spheres that can interview on that.
Amazing. I think that's a that's a good message for many countries, because
we should. I think we should stop. It's not anything about Facebook, but we should stop complaining on the Facebook and going to have a physical talk with the politics. It's the only way that we change this.
Yeah, I agree completely with you. I mean, the thing is, we talk about it a lot on Facebook, and also when I see, for example, my group, you know, which has 18,000 members, and every time there is a kind of issue about whatever, English Bulldogs or Cavaliers, there is a lot of talking, but that's talking between us, between dog people. You know, we need, as you say, talk to the people outside of our world, to the politicians, to the governments and these things. That's not an easy job, I understand it, but I'm happy that you mentioned that you have managed to change some laws on different levels, because I think that's a good message for the people, that they should never stop fighting. There is always a possibility that something is voted and then changed.
Yes, and just to make sure that when you talk with the governor, the deputy, the president of your country, they understand when you explain your point of view. If we don't go and talk to them, people that want these laws to go forward, they have a very nice speech. It's different than us. So we need to show the other way. And the only way to do this is talk with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, in general, I think we need more presence in the media, and we need more communication with the lawmakers, because that's the only way how we can change the narrative. Okay, let's stop now a little bit with these difficult and sensitive topics of health and cropping and knocking and everything. I have one part of the interview which is called Quick Questions. That's usually very interesting for my viewers, because that's different kind of short questions. So let's see how you are going to deal with that. Tell me for the start, what would be for you your favorite dog show in Brazil?
Okay, a part of the World Dog Show, right?
Yeah.
You know, we had a wonderful section show in Brazil in 2018. It was in Fortaleza, and we stopped. It was after 17 years without having a section show here, and it was very, very nice.
Okay. Tell me, I'm sure that you have judged Dobermanns a lot in your life. You don't need to tell me the name, but maybe you can tell me which show it was. What do you feel for the moment? What is the best Doberman you have ever judged in your life?
Okay. When I judged the first time the nationals of the Brazilian Doberman Club, I judged a Doberman that was amazing. And I'm not going to say the name because, you know, lots of jealous people on that, but it was very, very, very beautiful. And this Doberman won a lot. So for me, it's the best Doberman I judged at that moment, because now he's not going to do a very good job, because as I told you, I think the breed changed a lot and changed for better.
Yeah. Tell me, when you think about all the dogs that you bred, which one do you think is the best dog that you bred?
I have one bitch called Biafra. And yes, she won a lot, and I was a owner handler, and we did a good team, and we won lots of bassin shows. And
okay, tell me, of course, you have been showing your dogs many times. When you think about the things that you have won with your dogs in your life, which is maybe one win that comes to your mind as maybe the most important or the most emotional, or I don't know, something that you will never forget in your life when you have won with your dog?
First time I won the breed.
Okay.
Yes, it was with my first Doberman, was Turandot, and you know, I think the first 5 shows, the first 5 shows that she went. We didn't did a good job because I don't know how to handle. I don't know how to show her. But when I get used with the environment, and the first time we won the breed was, I never forget this feeling, that feeling.
Okay. Tell me, obviously you are for some time already all breed judge, and you have judged dogs all around the world. When we take Dobermanns away, and again, I don't need the name, you can just tell me the show and the breed, which is maybe one dog that you judged that you will never forget, one dog that has left a special impression on you. Maybe your last best in show winner from the World Dog Show, or maybe something from the past.
I think there was an English bulldog that I gave best in show in the American Caribbean show. It was amazing and it was the story. It was very nice because after this best in show, the dog was sold to the US and he won. When I judged him, he was a young dog, just like this this beach that I judged in São Paulo. So this bulldog was very young, and he was sold to the US and won best of breed in Westminster and lots of best in shows in the US. So this was
that gives always a special feeling. Is there one breed that you never had at home, but maybe one day you would like to have them as pets or to breed them or whatever?
Miniature pinscher.
Okay. So you are staying in your Pinscher and Schnauzer type section. Okay. Tell me, is there somebody from the dog world, somebody who has been your mentor or an important person in the dog world who is not alive anymore and you terribly miss?
You know, as I start this very, very young, I have lots of mentors because people, especially, of course, the Brazilian people, want to take care of me because I was a minor during that time. Yeah. So it's kind of complicated to pick one name. I can say the former president of Brazilian Kennel Club, Sergio, was very important in my life. And I have my mentor in Dobermanns. She used to judge dog as well, Maria José Magalhães, and lots of friends from South America. One of them is not with us anymore. It's Hermano Maniero from Peru. It was a wonderful guy that teach me a lot, not only in dogs, but in life as well.
Yeah. Tell me, I will not ask you about Brazil because as the president of the Kennel Club, I think for you it's a little bit dangerous to go into that subject. But let me ask you in general, when you think about breeders, are there some breeders, maybe one or two or three breeders from anywhere in the world who always impress you with the quality of their dogs? When you think about somebody asks you who is, in your opinion, the best breeder in the world, who are maybe two or three persons who come to your mind?
You know, it's another tough because there is so many. For example, we have a top boxer breeder in Brazil that unfortunately left us 1 month ago, Roberto, and he has a wonderful work on boxer, and he always have wonderful boxers, and it's amazing how the way they breed. In my time, the Dobermanns, we have a couple from the south, Juan Carlos de Luca, and he made a wonderful, spectacular job with Doberman as well. But you know, I think if I need to pick up one name, it's going to be Roberto from the boxers.
Okay, wonderful. Tell me, quick questions are always, nice for us, but difficult for my guests. So tell me, if you would get invitation, let's go to judge somewhere for 1 month, a lot of shows, traveling far away, and they say to you, okay, Fabio, you can pick up 3 colleague judges which you want to bring with you to spend 1 month traveling. Which 3 colleagues would you bring?
Oh my God, you put me in a very tough position. Okay, but okay, I'm not going to put my Brazilian people, otherwise I will have a problem. So apart the Brazilian judge, Gopi from Malaysia, Jinky from Philippines, and David Miller from the US.
Wonderful. That I'm sure that will be a wonderful trip. Tell me, if I give you the opportunity to say thank you to 5 persons in your life who helped you to become what you are today in the world of dogs, they can be obviously alive or not alive. To which 5 persons would you like to thank?
Our former president, Sergio Castro, my good friend Ed Bevan from the US, and Roberto Rossi from Brazil. It was our former vice president. And oh my God, there's so many people that I'd like to thank for.
I will help you if you want to have a good life. Thank to your wife. This is always the best. I say to my thank to the wife for the husband.
You know what? Thank to my parents, because without them I would not be here. They support me from the very beginning. And of course, thank to my wife, because I know how tough is her life, because I have a very strong professional life. I travel a lot during the week, and some of the weekends I need to travel to judge dogs, which I love. Of course, I'd like to judge more. I'd like, it's a problem that I have in my life, is to say no. Thank God I have lots of invitation, but it's very hard for me to accept, because I have a professional life. My professional life lead me to make lots of trips.
And you want to keep your wife. That's also,
of course.
I can imagine that. Tell me, Fabio, if you could, talking in general, if you could change one thing about the dog world today, what would you like to change?
I think, okay, we are talking a lot of sensitive points. Let me put one more. Okay. I think dog shows are becoming more, people want to have an excuse to lose. I think this is the most important thing now from the dog shows, because what we see is that, oh my God, we are going to have a dog show in 2 months and we are going to lose because that judge is coming and because that dog is going to win, and eventually it's not happen. And people don't relax and enjoy the show just like we did in the past. They are always worried about lose the show in the ring, and don't feel and don't enjoy, don't relax. For example, this World Dog Show, it was nice. There was lots of theories about who is going to win the best in show, who is going to win at that breed, who is going to win at that class. And in the very end, 90% just don't happen. So lots of surprise. And I think people should leave these theories behind and enjoy the show.
Yeah, I can there support you 100%. I think we have all, I think everybody in the dog world who has ever been successful has always, heard all these kind of stories. And these stories always come from the people who are not successful. They always invent this kind of story. Oh, I don't know, Fabio is a friend of this one, or this one is organizing this show. So there is always a story about something. But as you said, at the end, a lot of these stories are just nothing, just blah, blah. And I always say, I agree with you, people should enjoy and always try to breed and show better dogs. And if you have a good dog, there is no way that any politics or anything will stop you from winning. Maybe, yes, 1 or 2 times will happen, but not in general, not at the end. Tell me another thing, Fabio, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would you like to change?
I would like a day with 50 hours maybe. I'm a workaholic. I should, especially during the organization of the World Dog Show, took me 6 months of intense work, like waking up 4 a.m. and just I'm a detail guy, and I maybe not working too much.
Yeah.
That's one thing
Okay.
I'd like to change.
For time to relax. I want to ask you, you said you are not on Facebook, but I'm sure that you know the things and everything. When you think about social media, that's something that didn't exist when you were young, it didn't exist when I was young. When you think about the good things and the bad things of the social media, what do you think are the good ones and what are the bad ones?
I think the good ones is the way we can connect with people from everywhere. I'm not in Facebook, but I have in Instagram with a private one, but I have some friends, and I look a lot of shows, of course, and the other stuff that I love, like airplanes, soccer, and it's very, very nice if you use it in the correct way. But of course, on the other hand, you can lose lots of your time with people with things that is not going to help you in any way, and lots of discussion that's not going to a good way, and people that forget to live the real life and just live this social media life. So yeah. I think
it is very dangerous. I know. Okay, last one of the quick questions for you tonight. Did it ever happen to you that you were so disappointed by something that happened that you said, okay, I want to stop with dogs and I never want to see any dogs or any dog shows again in my life?
To be honest, no. Maybe because I don't have Facebook. Maybe because I don't have Facebook.
That helps, maybe, yes. Yeah, that maybe helps. Okay, wonderful. Tell me, Fabio, now when we look back a little bit about you as a breeder, you were breeding Dobermanns. After that, you were breeding Cavaliers. When you think about breeding, what is your breeding strategy? Did you like to do line breeding? Do you like to do outcrosses? How do you choose the parents of your litters? What is important for you when you think about the next combination that you want to do?
I use all these strategies on the breed just to make everybody sure. I'm not a big breeder. I have 1 litter per year of Cavaliers and Dobermanns. I think the last one 3 years ago, because Ante, I decide to. I think it's moments of your life. Okay, I start with the dog sport as a breeder when I have 10, 15 liters, and then I start to judge, and I focus on judging. Of course, always having dogs around me, and now I'm very focused on the part of the Brazilian Kennel Club, that we need to make a revolution here. I mean, in terms of modernization, in terms of managing, and so now I still breed dogs, but I'm not is not the priority of this. Okay, so but of course I always try to have the dogs that I like the most, the same line, because they are very different. It doesn't matter if in Dobermanns or in Cavaliers, but I'm now in this director of the Brazilian Kennel Club moment.
Yeah, tell me one question which I always ask to my guests, and you are a judge, you were before a breeder and you were exhibitor, and we all have these private discussions, between ourselves. When somebody say to you, Fabio, do you think that this person is a good judge or a bad judge? What is in your head a definition of a good judge, and what is in your head a definition of a bad judge?
I think a good judge is a judge that only care about the dog that they are judging. Don't look to who is going to present the dog. Don't look about any other benefits. Just judge the dog and put up the one that you think is the best. Doesn't matter if in other people had you did the wrong or you did a bad job, but you need to put your head on the pillow in the night and say, oh, I did a great job, in my opinion. And of course, a good judge, you need to continuously study about the dogs, the standards, and to watch dog shows and to learn from your colleagues, from the breeders. Okay.
Okay.
I think a bad judge, I think it's just the opposite what I said. I think a judge that don't study, don't take a good care of the ring, don't be polite to the other people. Thank God, I think we have much more good dogs, good judges than bad judges.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubts about that. Tell me, does it happen to you sometimes that you finish judging, you sit in the car or you sit in the plane, and you think to yourself, Fabio, maybe you should have done this in a different way? Do you have these doubts in your head?
Yes, and I think it's part of the process, because when you have doubt, you go to the standard, you take a look more careful. It's not every show, but sometimes it's happen, and you should take this opportunity to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you another thing. When you are an all breeds judge, of course, people invite you to judge all kinds of. Obviously, you and many other people become all breeds judges because you have a genuine interest in all the breeds. But is there a breed, for example, which you always are excited to judge, which always you are very happy when you judge this breed? And is there a breed which you like to judge, but you find it extremely difficult?
I must say there is groups. I love to judge the group 2. I love to judge the group 7, the group 8. I love to judge terriers. A specific breed is kind of difficult to say, because there is lots of breeds that I love to judge. And I cannot say golden retrievers is wonderful to judge them. Great Danes, I love to judge Great Danes. Are
there breeds which are difficult for you? You need to specifically train yourself a little bit more before you judge them.
The breeds from group 10, I think they're tough, but not on one specific breed. Okay. But I think group 10 is kind of hard.
Yeah, very specific, yes, in a way. Tell me, you said you are very devoted at the moment to the work of the Kennel Club. Can you tell me a little bit more about the Brazilian Kennel Club? How many members do you have? How many international shows per year you have? What is more or less the general entry on your dog shows? Some important things about the Brazilian Kennel Club.
You know what? We just celebrate 100 years in last December. We have a big organization. We had more than 100,000 registries per year. Okay. We have 100 judges, but we need to modernize ourselves. We took a long time doing the pedigrees with papers. I mean, we didn't have online pedigrees. Now we didn't have the printers on the clubs. We have 66 different clubs, and all of them print the pedigree to the breeders in 2 hours. When in the past it took like 6 months. So we are facing now a very interesting moment, that after the dog show we see lots of people coming back to the dog sport, but we have around 600 shows per year. Okay. Half of them with Cassib shows, and it's very big. and we are, as I told you in this moment, always try to modernize the show, the club, especially with the IT. I think we are in a very good moment here.
What is more or less the average entry on a Kacip show in Brazil?
Because we have lots of shows, we don't have lots of entry because we divide. Brazil is a huge country, as you know. Yes. We have 27 states, and in all of these states, we have Kacip shows. There is some, of course, São Paulo, we have 1,000 dogs entry. As I told you, I know that for Europe is not a good number, but for us, it's a wonderful number. But we have around 500 dogs average during the Kacip shows.
Okay. And tell me, when we talk about puppy registrations, what are, let's say, maybe the first 3 most popular breeds in Brazil, not on the dog shows, but as puppies?
French Bulldog, Spitz, and Shih Tzus.
Okay, that's interesting. Normally, it's always Golden Retrievers, German Shepherds, and these things. So Brazil is quite different in that way.
Yes, and it changed a lot. For example, we are seeing a wonderful growth of Rottweilers. Now they are number 4 of registrations.
Wonderful. Tell me, Fabio, whenever I have people who are presidents of the Kennel Club, I like to ask the questions about the strategy of preserving the national breeds. Tell us a little bit about Brazilian national breeds, and maybe we can touch a little bit, because when I do the seminars, I have done just one seminar 2 weeks ago, a big seminar about showing dogs. Then I have shown them the video of you showing the feline, the best in show, because that's such a specific way of judging one breed, and maybe people who are not, so, because it's not a very, it's quite a rare breed in Europe. Tell us a little bit in general about Brazilian breeds, and a little bit about this very specific strategy of judging the felas.
Okay, we have 10 breeds in Brazil. Only 3 of them are fully recognized by FCI. And the last Brazilian breed that became recognized was the Rastreador Brasileiro. And this breed there is a very interesting story. During the 60s, it was the Rastreador Brasileiro was recognized by FCI, but because of different reason, the breed almost disappeared. And when I became president of the Brazilian Kennel Club, we already had work from breeders and for our former president in a way to take this breed back to life, let's say like this. And finally, we got the second recognition for the breed from the Rastreador, and this breed went to the group that the breed belonged, which is group 6. And now it's become popular in Brazil. It's a tracker dog. And of course, we have the fila that, as you mentioned, we have a very specific way to judge, because you need to see him moving very slow, like a pace, and then is to see his camel move. It's important to know how to move the fila and how to judge the fila. Of course, fila has other important information for the judge. Some judge just don't touch the fila, but there is nothing in the standard saying that. Some judges touch the fila, so if the handler say it's possible to touch, he'll touch the fila. But I don't remember a problem we had with a judge and a fila in our shows. And of course, we have the Brazilian Terrier, which is very popular in the Scandinavian countries. It's nice to see the numbers that they got, especially in Finland. And we have lots of breeders there. And And you have the other breeds that we are right now working on the recognition in the FCI. It's a very specific work, but the Brazilian breeders are helping us a lot with all the information that we need to present the proposal to the FCI.
Tell me, just going back for 1 second to the filas, as a Brazilian judge, would you say to touch filas, or you would say better not to touch them?
It's depend of the dog. Okay, it's depend of the dog. Of course, if you don't know how to touch them, I think you're not supposed to. But if you know how to touch them, especially the young ones, you can go and touch them.
Okay. And tell me, you have mentioned there are other breeds with which you are working. Which one of these breeds is, let's say, the nearest to be proposed to the FCI to be recognized?
The Bulldog Campeiro,
okay,
and the Ovelheiro Gaúcho. They are breeds from the south of Brazil. They have a very strong number of breeders, and they are very close to us on this task to recognize them.
Wonderful, wonderful. So good luck with that, definitely.
Thank you.
Now it's another nice part of the interview for the people, and that's a part called Photos of Life, where we show the photos of that my guests have, decided or they have chosen to show to the people because they represent something emotional or important for them. Beltran will put photos on the screen so everybody can see them, and you will tell us why did you choose them. And we start with the photo of you as a very young boy with the Doberman. Tell us about that photo.
This photo was taken during the trip to my first dog show. I was the age of 13, and this is my Doberman Turandot. It was very nice. It was a wonderful show. My first show.
Okay.
And first trip as well.
That's the famous Turandot.
Yes.
The next photo that you sent us is a photo. You said it's the ex-president of Brazil, if I remember well.
Yes. And during that time, we gave him a Brazilian tracker. Yes, the story that I just told you. I know that, regardless of the political position, being received as president of the Brazilian Kennel Club for the first time by a president was very important for the defense of the dog breeders. With regard to the laws, I spoke a lot with the president, and it was important, the chat, because the law that restrict and make the breeding of pedigree dogs very difficult in Brazil. That's what I'm saying. We need to go and talk to the politics.
Yeah, to the lawmakers. I agree.
Yes.
Okay. Next photo is the photo of the section to which you belong. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a nice photo, and we have a very good relation in our section. And this photo was taken in Fortaleza when we hold the American Caribbean section meeting, and showed the union that we have in our section. It's very important for our growth and our position with the FCI to be very united.
Absolutely, and I think when we think about all this, politics and kennel clubs and all the things, I think your section is definitely the one which is most connected one to another and in a very good relationship, and it looks like it works very well.
Yes. Of course, we have our difference, but we always try to support each other. We have lots of presence during our meetings. Almost the countries, all the countries go to the section meeting, and we have a wonderful relation.
Wonderful. I'm very happy that one of the photos that you shared with us, because that's something I'm very fond of, is a photo of junior handlers. That's really something that we should promote as much as we can. Tell us why this photo for you.
This photo was taken when we ranking of the junior handler competition in 2019. We support our junior handler very much, and the result of all that support could be seen during the World Dog Show, where we have a beautiful competition in the main ring with boys and girls coming from more than 30 different countries. It's amazing how they love, how they take it very serious, and I was very happy to see that our work in junior handling was very success during the World Dog Show.
Yeah, is junior handling a popular competition in Brazil?
It's becoming more and more. When we start this to support the competition, it was very tough to take 2 or 3 kids to go to the ring. Okay. But now we have a line. We have people there since the very beginning, and it was a wonderful work that our former coordinator of junior handler did. Unfortunately, she's doing another thing now, but Angelis Pinheiro, she did a wonderful job for us.
Wonderful, wonderful. We are going now to one of these events that I'm sure will stay very special for you in your life, and that's a flag ceremony at the World Dog Show in Madrid. You take flag. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was a very important moment of my life, not only because of the flag ceremony, but this everybody know about the problem that Spain had during the pandemic. Of course, everybody had problems, not only in dog shows, but on his own lives. But this was one of the most difficult decisions I have made because, you know, Spain couldn't make the show in 2020, and we just need to find a solution to help them. And of course, we talk a lot. I mean, when I say we, it was me and the other president of the coming shows. And Brazil chose to help Spain. On the one side, you had a brother country going through great difficulties in the organization of its World Dog Shows. On the other side, we had the possibility that our World Dog Show would be in a difficult position by the fact of having 2 major events in the same year. So we of course, we talk a lot with my board, with lots of people, and then we have but I have no doubt that we made the right decision. And I'm very proud to have helped Spain. And in a way or another, we help the European breeders and exhibitors that had the opportunity to have a show in Europe. And it was very, very nice to see that the 2 World Dog Shows were a great success. And I think the FCI came out much more united from this episode, which was very, very well conducted with great skills and competence by our president, Thomas. It wasn't easy for him. It wasn't easy for the board of FCI to find a solution, but I'm very happy and proud that Brazil somehow helped Spain.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that obviously the times of pandemic were extremely difficult for everyone, for all the countries in their special ways. But it is what you say. I think it's very important to mention that the dog world at some point became so united, and really you could see that, you know, different. Of course, I understand your position. You have to think, you know, okay, I want to help to Spain, but is that going to destroy my show? So there is a lot of thinking about it. But I'm happy that first of all that we have shown that kind of unity, trying to help one to another. And what is even more important, at the end, what you said, both shows were really a great success. I have been in Madrid. I have followed Brazil from the live streams. Both shows were really, really a great success. So I think that was absolutely a good decision and a nice nice gesture of the Brazilian Kennel Club. Well, then you have mentioned two persons before, and that's going to be the next photo that we are going to show. That's you, Jose Doval and Tamas Jakel, shaking hands, probably celebrating a good cooperation and a good realization of two shows.
Yes, this photo was taken in Madrid during the World Dog Show in Madrid, and we are very happy because the three of us, we passed through very difficult moments to arrange this, and everybody was worried about the other. Jose Doval and Thomas, they knew that I might be in a very difficult position because it was a long time without the World Dog Show in South America. In exactly the time of this show, we need to share. But as I said, I'm 100% that we took the right decision. I'm sure that Spain will have the same decision if we are with the problem that they had. And the good thing is that not only the decision was right, but in the very end we had wonderful events in different countries. The World Dog Show in Spain and Brazil was a huge success.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's go now with the photos a little bit to your family. There is a beautiful photo of your daughter with the two Cavaliers. Tell us about that.
Yes, my daughter now is a teenager, but I love this photo because it's when we start our life with the Cavaliers. And you know, Nicole is my daughter, and she's is a very dog person. She loves dogs, go to dog shows with me, and of course she's completely in love with the Cavaliers. They sleep with her every night, and it's very nice to see how dogs love her and how she loves the dogs.
Okay, and does she have some ambitions to breed later on in her life, or to be a judge or something, or she just enjoys the company of the father?
I don't think so. She loves the dogs and of course to be with me in the shows, but I would be very happy if she or my son Pablo try to be a judge, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But they love dogs, which is very, very nice.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but that's the most important part, definitely. The next photo that we are going to show is, I think, about the dog that you have mentioned when we were talking about the dogs that have impressed you most in your life. I think that's the photo of your Bulldog Best in Show winner. Tell us about that.
You know what? I never had a easy life in the Brazilian Kennel Club. Okay. I mean, for example, what I say, I never had an easy life. I never, during our big shows, I never take the time to relax, enjoy the show. I thought it would happen in the World Dog Show, but I need to work, as I told you, 4 hours in advance. Of course, we relax a lot during the night because we have an extraordinary social program. I think all the judges that were here enjoy a lot. But this competition, I wasn't supposed to judge the competition. I wasn't in the list. I wasn't in the panel of the competition. Our former president, Sergio, is going to be the Best in Show judge. And one day before the show, he got sick and he went to the hospital, and the doctor said, okay, you're not going to judge. And he asked me, I was the vice president, and as I told you, I wasn't in the panel. He asked me, Fabio, please, you are my vice president. I want you to judge the Best in Show. And it was a shock because it was the biggest show I judged during that time. But of course, and once again, it's nice how it happened that I wasn't thinking about that too much when I realized I was in the main ring judging. And the show was a huge success. We have 1.5 thousand dogs, which is a good and excellent entry, especially from here, from the Northeast. This show was held in Fortaleza. It's a wonderful city in Brazil, and it was a very nice panel of judges. And I was in the panel. I judged the best in show, and this dog has a wonderful success in his career.
Wonderful. And then we are closing the photos of your life, of course, with the last big emotion for you, and that's judging best in show at the World Dog Show in Brazil with your beautiful Shih Tzu as best in show winner. Tell us about that.
Yes, we talk about the theories. Nobody thought about the Shih Tzu. And it was amazing. Huh?
General, you are a man of a surprise.
Yeah. No, you know what? All the dogs that people imagine wasn't in the lineup. So, but I think it's part of the sport. But this Shih Tzu, the beach was wonderful, and apart all the good things that I could see on her, and she was the dog that most won the best in show. It was amazing the way she presented herself. It was amazing the way that she moved, and when she, of course, you know, when I make my decision, I told Linda about the dogs, the first dogs, and then I went to the podium, and before I got to the podium, the crowd started to clap hands like crazy and saying that Shih Tzu, and I was with Thomas in the podium and say, "Oh, Fabio, I hope you put up the Shih Tzu, otherwise we're gonna have problem to leave the venue."
Yeah.
And I didn't miss the chance to play with him and say, "Thomas, I don't know, maybe we need to call the police to put us out of this venue."
Yeah.
It was very, very nice. So it was a wonderful opportunity. This picture I was with I am with my wife, my daughter, and my son. They represent a lot for me. They support me.
The blonde lady on the left is your wife?
Yes,
oh,
Paloma.
You are a lucky man, I can tell you.
Yes, I think she's lucky as well. But they support me a lot. I was, as I told you several times, I was working like crazy on the World Dog Show, and I'm very happy to have them on my life.
Of course, absolutely. I want to ask you, Fabio, only 3 more questions before we finish this wonderful interview, and I will start with one advice that maybe you would like to give to the young people. Doesn't matter somebody who is just starting in the dog world, who wants to become a judge, a breeder, a groomer, handler, doesn't matter. What would be maybe your advice to somebody young who wants to become successful in the world of dogs?
I think just try to be yourself. Just try to be honest, and know that only hard work can take you to the success. And I think if you want to be a judge, just have in your mind that the best dog in your mind is the one that needs you to win. Yeah. Because, you know, I was in every single position in the sport, and it's terrible when you are showing a dog and a judge not taking attention to your dog. Doesn't matter if it's a good dog or if it's not a good dog. Treat every single dog if they are special, because they are in the very end.
Yeah, I think when I ask my guests this question, you know, what would you like to change in the dog world? One of the most favorite answers is, you know, to bring back respect from the judges to the exhibitors, respect from the exhibitors to the judges. There are some people, unfortunately, as you said, who don't give enough respect to every dog that they judge, and I think that's definitely something that we want to change. But then also on the other hand, as you said, there are so many exhibitors who don't show respect to the judges, and there are always some theories of this and that. So I think this is really a good message for everybody.
And you know what, Ante, when you start on this disrespect way, it's almost impossible to come to the respect way. Yeah. So I think from the very beginning, as a young judge, you need to show that you doing a very serious job, that you must be respect as a judge, as a person, and doesn't matter if you're not going to put up the best dog that people thought is the best dog, but just always try to put up the dog that you think is the most beautiful, the one that needs to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. Tell me, Fabio, if you think now after all the stress and all the drama about the World Dog Show, when you think about your role as the president of the Brazilian Kennel Club, your role as a judge, what are the plans for the future? What is something that you would really like to do in the near future?
I think we are doing a good job in Brazil. I didn't have the opportunity to say to you that I really want to be the president of the Brazilian Kennel Club since the beginning, but I really thought it wasn't going to be as soon as it was, because I'm in a very productive time on my career, but things just changed, and now I'm the president of Brazilian Kennel Club, and I'm very happy with them. But when you say that, what about the plans? What about the near future? I took the decision to run for the board of the FCI. And I'm candidate to the board because I felt that I'm prepared and I understand that I can contribute to many debates that are necessary for the future of FCI and our sport. With all experience that I got in my professional life and in CBKC, Brazilian Kennel Club itself, I understand that I can also contribute to managing and modernization of FCI, just like I did in the Brazilian Kennel Club.
Okay, that's the first. Let's say, how to say, the exclusive that I had in my interview for somebody announcing something so big. I obviously, from my side, I wish you best of luck. I'm sure that the FCI board could have a lot of good things from you, and I wish you a big success. Is it now in Geneva, the meeting?
Yes, it's going to be in Geneva. We have 3 positions, and we're going to have this election in Geneva in August.
Okay, wonderful. Before I ask you my last question, let me just ask 2 questions that came just now. Are a little bit connected more with the things that we were talking before. Olga is asking you, how is the general health of the Dobermanns in South America?
I think they are in a very good moment, as I told you. I think they are in a very good moment in all of the topics, including health.
Yeah, and then there is another video, all maybe later on I can send it to you. It's from a lady called Marta. She says, "Boa tarde, Fabio. First of all, congratulations on organizing the biggest show in South America. For me, it was a dream come true to show a dog of my breeding in the country of origin, being judged by 2 Brazilian judges. The general question is, when can we expect a complete list of results of the World Dog Show?" I suppose that she is talking about breed results for all the dogs that were entered.
Yes, there is a site in Brazil called Dog Show, dogshow.com.br. She will find the complete results. And of course, if it wasn't possible or if she has another doubt, just send us an email in the CBKC site, cbkc.org. We have a complete list of our email, and we will help her.
Okay, wonderful. Tell me, for the end of this interview, Fabio, you just now announced that you are going to run for the general board of the FCI. If you enter in the general board, you will be together with Tamas and his colleagues on daily basis discussing very sensitive subjects. Tell me, when you think about the future of the sport, when you think about everything that is happening in Germany, in Austria, in the Netherlands, in Norway, and so on, how do you see the future of the sport? What do you think that we should do in this moment, maybe to change the trend which is happening now? Are you optimistic or you are pessimistic? And do you think that, for example, in 10 years' time, the breeding of purebred dogs and the dog shows will look the same like they're looking now?
I'm very optimistic. I know that we have lots of challenges. I know that we need to focus on the main problems that we have in our sport. I think we need to have the health of the dogs in our top priority, and I think that we have a good opportunity to work with the organization in every country. I think FCI should help the countries by sending more information about how important are the dogs on the functions of the dogs. But I'm very optimistic. I think in 10 years we will be in a very, very best position that we are now. I think we're growing very well. I think Tamas is doing a wonderful job. I think the FCI should be a bit more close to other organizations, just like the AKC, the Kennel Club. I think we unite, we are stronger.
Okay, wonderful. First of all, I want to say to you a big thank you for accepting my invitation and putting me in your busy schedule. I have really enjoyed our talk tonight. The wonderful thing is that when you have a guest that you have never met before in your life, you never know what to expect. It can go in all directions. But I have really enjoyed our talk tonight. I have really enjoyed to hear your opinion on different subjects, sensitive and not sensitive. So first of all, huge thank you for accepting my invitation. I want to say that next Wednesday I'm going to have the round table with 3 guests. One of them is going to be José Jomem de Melo from Portugal. My second guest is going to be Moa Persson from Sweden. I have invited Moa to talk about the great initiative that some of the friends of late Dan Eriksson started in Sweden about the scholarship for successful breeders. So that's something that I'm very curious to hear about. And then also my third guest will be Ozan Belkis, the president of the Turkish Kennel Club. We all know what has been happening in Turkey in the last 10 days with this horrible earthquake, and so many people lost their lives. And I want to see from Ozan directly how we as a dog community can help to the people in Turkey in these difficult times. So I think it's going to be a very interesting roundtable next Wednesday. Of course, thank you for everybody for watching. There are coming now the comments when we are at the end of it. Eva Rauta is writing, thank you. It was a pleasure to listen to Fábio Amorim, very perceptive and wise. Julie, thank you. Thank you for a very interesting evening. Biddy saying a very interesting evening. Thank you. So the comments are coming now saying thank you to both of us for the nice evening. And of course, I'm leaving the last words of the evening to you, Fabio, to say something to all the people who are watching this tonight and to all the people who are going to watch this interview in the future.
Thank you, Ante, for the invitation. It was a pleasure to be with you. It's always a pleasure to talk about dogs. It was a very interesting moment. We had lots of tough questions, and I don't have any issue with tough questions. I have my opinion. I keep my opinion. Of course, I don't have any problem in changing my opinion if the other person show me that I wasn't right. And so I'm here whenever you want. It was 2 hours that we are talking in the past so fast.
Exactly.
But I think when it happened, because it was a very good talk. So it's always good, as I told you, to talk about dogs, especially with the World Dog Show. That's our World Dog Show. It's part of my life, and I still think about it. And I want to thank specific the people that came to Brazil, to the show. We were very happy to host you here, and I really wish that you had a great time in Brazil.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Fabio. I'm going to end up this interview with a few more comments that have just arrived. Debbie saying thank you, Ante and Fabio, for a most interesting conversation, and best wishes, Fabio, for the FCI board position. Linda is saying really, really interesting evening. Thank you both so much. Olga is saying thank you very much. Desi Murphy saying great interview. So I'm happy that our viewers have enjoyed. I once again thank you for accepting my invitation. See you everybody next Wednesday at the same place, same time, with a round table with my 3 guests, and have a good evening or a good afternoon in Brazil. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Quando lottiamo per migliorarci, tutto intorno a noi diventa più bello. Non ci sono passi falsi, se l'obiettivo è dare il massimo per noi stessi e per chi è sempre al nostro fianco. In Monge lo sappiamo, perché ciò che facciamo bene oggi migliora i nostri domani. Con questa filosofia vi offriamo il meglio della nostra esperienza. Monge Natural Super Premium, alimenti made in Italy di alta qualità per il benessere dei nostri amici a 4 zampe. Monge, la famiglia italiana del pet food.